Hello there, name's Abno, and today I bring you a story about a first-time DM who has a lot to learn. Let's roll for tale. My very first regular group of D&D as an impressionable new player was, in a word, traumatizing. It soured my outlook on D&D for a long time, and only now that I've been playing outside of this group for a while, I can look back and reflect on how badly it went and how quickly I should have left. Here's a mishmash summation of how our campaign went. The stated module we played was Curse of Strahd. After looking over the actual module, it turns out we played exactly none of this. Every single session would turn into a 3+ hour battle fest. RP was extremely sparse, outside of interacting between players and with NPCs who railroaded us to the next fight. We had a good heart-to-heart with the DM about the endless boss battles. He seemed to understand. The next session was a flashback setting with some role-playing and dialogue involved, which then led into another 3-hour boss fight. All of the monsters we fought were seemingly ripped off the internet based on what the DM thought was cool, with complete disregard for CR. After one of the sessions, the DM showed me the monster he had put in the encounter. It was CR 17. Our party was level 5. The DM balanced these encounters by giving us a 17th level DMPC who stepped in when things got out of hand and one-shot the bad guy. Despite demanding we turn in our character sheets at the end of every session so he can check our notes, he never learned anything about our character builds. During one of our early enemy encounters, I forget the reason why, but he ruled that one of our players was immediately unconscious and unrevivable for the entire fight. This was a 2-hour encounter. The player did not get to play at all. Our first boss encounter was a legendary werewolf with 400 HP. He told us this from the beginning. The DM also set a 30-minute IRL timer. After this timer went off, more werewolves appeared. The only thing preventing the party from being wiped was another DMPC who stood in the middle of the battlefield soaking up attacks from the werewolf but never getting hit. I chose to play an Oath of Vengeance Paladin for this campaign, using two-handed weapons. The DM continually either assumed I was using a shield or pressed me to use a shield because you get cool bonuses from your deity for your shield. When my paladin did enough damage to the werewolf to draw its attention, it killed me outright in one hit. I was allowed to come back through divine intervention. When we got close to being TPK'd, the DM decided to summon a group of clerics to run in and one-shot the legendary werewolf. We were told we gained 4 levels for this encounter. As I and another player were down, the sorcerer rolled on the wild magic table and dropped a fireball on himself, we would only gain 2 levels. We were never given an opportunity to catch up with the rest of the party. Later on in the campaign, I switched to a light cleric because it was clear nobody was going to survive in melee. Despite having my character sheet in between all sessions, he continued to assume I was a heavy armor cleric and berated me for not being in the front. Although he was pleased with my switch because I told you guys you need a cleric, although I did get the inevitable, "Why aren't you healing? You're a cleric." Right before an inevitable boss encounter, he took control of my character and burned every single spell slot. During the boss fight, I protested and he took away every meaningful thing I could do for no reason. He gave me back 3 slots. When I asked what level slots they were, he was confused and thought that you just added up slots as you liked, i.e. spend 3 slots to cast a level 3 spell. This happened at least a month into the campaign. The boss encounter was posed as a large group of small but weak monsters. Being a light cleric, I of course opt to cast Fireball. The DM said he did not know I had that spell, despite having my character sheet between all sessions, which included my spell list. I eradicated a lot of the monsters, but it turns out these monsters each deal unavoidable psychic damage upon death. My character is again killed outright. The DM chose to use some haphazard implementation of the stress system from Darkest Dungeon along with curses. One of our players was cursed to have an alternate evil half within him. When the character talked, he imposed a 50% chance that the evil half would talk instead, which would deal stress damage to everyone. Of course, functionally, this encouraged the player to not talk in character at all. The same character was also cursed to be afraid of magic. If he saw a spell being cast, he would forfeit his next turn. We had 2 spellcasters in the party, and then had to choose between forcing a chance that the cursed character wouldn't be able to do anything in combat, or ourselves not being able to do anything in combat. The fallout of this whole situation ended in me having severely tilted expectations of the game, such as looking at the spell Aid and thinking, only 5 HP? That's never worth taking. Enemies do like 30 damage at level 1. I am fortunately now in a much better group with a much better DM, but when reading up on abilities, those thoughts still bubble up in my head and I'm worried they will never go away. The end. Well, that was a hot mess of a story. Is there a D&D equivalent of PTSD? Because if there is, this guy has it. And from his first player experience no less. On the post title, OP says that it was the DM's first time at the helm of a game, but it honestly seems like the DM had never played D&D to begin with. Click that like button if you liked the video, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I'll see y'all in the next one.